Welcome to Edge Time. If you're new to the channel, I make knife review videos once a week, and for every knife that I review, I put out a separate disassembly video. So, the knife we'll be looking at today is the CobraTec FS3. This is the medium version in Army Digital Camo, and it features the drop point blade and a plain edge. So, what does medium mean as far as CobraTec knives? This knife has about 3 1/8 inches in edge length, 3 1/4 inches, give or take a little, on overall blade length, and 8 1/4 inches overall open length. And closed, this knife is about, I would say, 5 1/8 or 5 1/16 inches long. So this is an excellent knife. It has a nice D2 tool steel blade. D2 is a steel known for its edge retention is the main thing. I believe it does have enhanced corrosion resistance. I haven't looked at its specifications in a little while, but I know that it does have excellent edge retention. Some people say that it can have, or it can be difficult to sharpen. I haven't really experienced that all that much. I can say it is hard. It is very hard, but I always use, or most of the time, use diamond to sharpen my knives, so I don't really notice if a steel is a whole lot harder. But it does hold an excellent edge, very sharp. Um, so the blade is the drop point configuration of the FS3, and I'm glad of that because I do not like dagger style OTF knives very much, because there's already sort of a fear factor going on with OTF knives in the minds of most people. I obviously don't mind them at all. I love the idea of an OTF knife, and but a dagger point just sort of adds another layer of menace to an OTF knife, and I don't really find dagger style blades very useful to begin with. Sure, it is true that you can have a plain edge on one side and a serrated edge on the other, or two plain edges, but I prefer just to have one straight, nice, plain edge. That way I can actually put my thumb on the back of the blade, use the knife for normal, everyday sort of tasks, and I am almost certainly not going to be stabbing anything with this knife, so I do not need the penetrating power of a dagger blade. The most poking this thing is going to do is probably going to be opening packages, and this nice drop point will work beautifully for that. So, a couple more notes about the blade here. It is of course, a drop point, like I said, but it also has this nice little false edge up here. Just adds a little bit more piercing power to the tip. It does have this nice pierced blade element here. It's like pierced inside of this little false fuller, and I really like that. It just sort of adds a tactical element to the blade, sort of copies Microtech a little bit, which is fine. It's the name itself, CobraTec. You can obviously tell that they're going after Microtech a little bit there. But these are a lot cheaper than Microtech's, which I will get into later. The handle ergonomics are great. It looks awesome. Handle feels fine. No, I would venture to say that very few OTFs are going to have the same ergonomic feel as a folding knife, but this one comes close. There is obviously, if you cut for a long period with this, you're going to get hot spots. That's just the way the knife is built. But then again, I probably am not going to be using this thing for an extended duration. I'm going to probably, if I'm going to be carving on something for a long time, for example, I'm going to use like my Mora Robust or something like that with a nice rubber handle, good ergonomic grip, so I can actually do stuff like that. For this is just an EDC knife. This is going to be up against mostly light chores. Now, if I do have to put it through something heavy use oriented, I'm sure it will do just fine. These are well-made knives, but it wouldn't be my first choice for extended use. So yeah, that being said, plenty of jimping on the handle. It is nice and comfortable. You can almost tell just by the way the light is reflecting off of it, but this is actually sort of a soft coating on here, and it's not like other soft coatings. It doesn't just rub off immediately. It is fairly durable. I haven't really had any of it wear off yet. So it has a really nice feel in the hand. The pocket clip is very nice, very usable. I love the way that they've done this. The it actually sits very well in the pocket. The pocket clip screw is this sort of interesting design where to unscrew it, you have to have a small piece of metal, or you could maybe use a slim screwdriver to get in there and just take this off like this. I really like that design. You would think when the knife is in your pocket that the glass breaker would be sort of obnoxious sticking up out of your pocket, but it's really not that bad. I haven't really noticed any issues with it yet, so it's excellent there. The pocket clip is nice and springy, has good retention. This knife is absolutely not going to fall out of your pocket. Let's see, the action on this knife is great. It was a little stiff right out of the box, but that is to be expected with any OTF, regardless of the brand. So, or maybe not the Kershaw Livewire. I've heard that those are extremely smooth straight out of the box, and I'll have to maybe get my hands on one of those one day, but that's a little down the road. Anyway, like I was saying, action on this is smooth. I've actually had it apart a couple of times, including for my disassembly video, and I've made sure to lubricate everything in here, and so it is already definitely breaking in nicely. I haven't even had this knife for a week yet, and the coating is starting to wear off of the thumb stud and the clip, which is totally fine with me. That just sort of gives it character, and I like that. And I do believe that is most likely intentional. I think they could have given this a more durable coating if they had chosen to, and it probably wouldn't have changed the cost of the knife much. But I think they know that people do like their knives to develop character over time. So yeah. So just if you're looking for a knife that does not show wear, then this is definitely not the one. It is, I believe, it is designed to show a little bit of wear. Um, can't really assess this knife the same way I would a folding knife, but it is an excellent knife, and it is an excellent knife for the price. A lot of the knives that I've reviewed so far, like the Benchmade Bug Out, Spyderco, Para 3, they're great knives, but there's just not much value there. This knife is an amazing value. Um, this knife was, I believe, $75 at the store that I got it. And I would say it performs more like a $150 OTF. And these are only about, I believe, 110 on CobraTec's actual online store. So whether you order it from them or you get it at a discount from a dealer, I think you're still getting a pretty good deal overall. It's obviously not a Microtech. It is not going to be that same level of quality, although I have heard that Microtech is sort of slipping in quality a little bit these days. I don't have a Microtech, so I don't know about that. But overall, as much as I can say, this being my first OTF, I obviously don't have much of a reference to go off of, but I would say that this is an excellent beginner OTF. And even if this was the only OTF you ever owned, I would say you would be very happy with it. I do sort of tentatively plan on getting more CobraTec knives just because I'm very impressed with this one, and I've seen so many stories online of people having excellent experiences with them. And as far as ease of maintenance goes, I will be making a separate disassembly video for this knife, but I will say these things look like they would be a pain to take apart and maintain, but they are actually easier than most of my folding knives. These knives are so well designed that there is not much you can do to these knives that would break them. There are ways to break these things, but you're probably not going to break this thing just everyday use and maintenance. So with that, the CobraTec FS3, a wonderful budget OTF. Like I said, I will be coming out with a separate disassembly video for this knife, as well as most likely a short review. I believe that next week I may attempt to do my first watch review, which, a little bit of a sneak peek here, will be of this guy, my Casio A168. So with that, I hope you all enjoyed this. Also check out my disassembly of this knife, and with that, I will see you all in the next one. Have a good day.